And now I'm going to talk about New France, about the French colonial adventure into the New World and the encounter between the French and the Native Americans. Now, first of all, let's take a look at the territorial claims. The French had a very large territorial claim. They claimed the bulk of Canada. Of course, we've also got some British claims there that are going to become problematic, leading the French and Indian War. And then you have Louisiana. Now, this isn't the Louisiana that I grew up in, the state. This is...
They said many times in the sentences and document, and he said Louisiana, but it's not actually Louisiana. Very huge area of Louisiana, all those areas. See? All those areas, he said Louisiana at that time. And 1803, from Canada to the Texas. Canada to from Montreal to the Texas, they said Louisiana.
Big Louisiana.
Yeah.
This is Louisiana that stretches all the way from the mouth of the Mississippi to Minnesota and the Great Lakes and all that kind of stuff. All of that would have been considered French Louisiana. And the French, when LaSalle got to the mouth of the Mississippi, the French decided that they were going to claim all of the land that surrounded not only the Mississippi, but every tributary of the Mississippi River. So this gave the French a very large colonial claim. Now, the problem that the French had is that their areas of settlement didn't take up anywhere near this. So while the French had the largest colonial claim, we see that they also have the smallest area of settlement. So this isn't a lot of good if you can't defend it. And France is going to end up losing all of this after the French and Indian War. So keep in mind that we've got a big colonial claim, but few colonists to back it up. And the French are primarily interested in not...
This is fur. Fur is American Indian sell to French people. Okay, this is fur. And the French case is very special. French is different from British, Spain. Those people, assimilation means they try to get married with Indian people. And actually, trader is French Indian. Not French people, French Indian is black and mixing. And those people dealing with, so they French people get into assimilate with American Indian. Right? This is French way. Everywhere in the world, their way. But later a little bit different they did, but actually they try to get into how to, this is not only simple for business, this is assimilation.
Because the French really don't leave their country all that much. But they want to make money, just like anybody else. They want to take advantage of the colonies for purposes of mercantilism and all of that. But they want to trade furs, primarily, is what they're doing in Canada. That you have these fur traders that go over there, and they are trying to make
just show you.
Fur traders.
This person is
now
French.
this is the sanitized name, because if
French,
you look a little closer here, you see this French fur trader, but then you see a young man that looks like he could be his son. And when you look a little closer, you see that his son has some Indian features to it. And the reason for this is because it was not unusual.
So this is Indian blood. This French way. Very important. Always French doing like that. Spanish is kill those people. French is assimilation. British is neglect local people. Not human. Then I just explain you. This is this one is Louisiana. This one. 10 states, Louisiana. And this is the year by year, which country occupied this Louisiana. And finally they sold to the 1802, sold to the United States. And this was talking about how much is it? Only 12 million. Napoleon sold Louisiana, only 12 million.
Have you heard the one about Thomas Jefferson and the Louisiana Territory? Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, was not a fan of the new Constitution presented in 1787. He was very worried that the Constitution gave too much power to the new national government and not enough power to the states, an issue known as big government. Jefferson only reluctantly agreed to support it when his friend James Madison promised to propose a Bill of Rights after it was ratified. But Jefferson's fears about big government did not.
What they are talking about here is the Constitution is very strong constitution at the government, countrywide instead of state. And this time they try to buy Louisiana from French government. It's Napoleon. But that time they don't have a constitution by Louisiana. So they try to how to handle it. They explain some sort of.
For example, Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton proposed a national bank in 1790, and Jefferson knew there was no provision in the Constitution to permit such a thing. Hamilton claimed some sort of implied powers mumbo-jumbo. Sure, it wasn't written in the Constitution, but the Constitution implied that it could be done. But Jefferson wasn't buying it. Nonetheless, the bank was established by Hamilton and President Washington. When Jefferson was sworn in as president in 1801, he pledged to reduce the size and scope of the national government. But of course, things didn't go exactly as he had planned. Spain secretly transferred the Louisiana territory to France right beneath Jefferson's nose. When Congress found out, they quickly began discussions with France to buy a piece of the territory along the Mississippi River.
Yeah, first they negotiated to France a piece of the small portion of Mississippi, and then
about $2 million. But there was one little problem. Jefferson knew there was no provision in the Constitution to buy foreign territory. So what was a strict constructionist to do? First, he tried to get an amendment to the Constitution passed that would expressly permit the purchase, but Congress wasn't willing to do it. Then, without permission, the U.S. negotiators in France cut a deal for all of the territory for a cool $15 million. That new land doubled the size of the nation.
Right.
Now Jefferson was really stuck. He knew that the territory would be a great acquisition for the country, providing lots of new land for farmers and other settlers, but how could he constitutionally justify it? In the end, Jefferson turned to the argument used by his old foe, Alexander Hamilton. He claimed that the power to purchase the territory is implied in the Constitution's treaty-making power. This was the exact argument that he had mocked openly a decade before, so it must have crushed his pride to have to use it. But more importantly, he may have committed the biggest big government play ever. How ironic is it that one of the biggest opponents of big government doubled the size of the young country and did so while openly questioning its constitutionality? At $15 million, which is about 3 cents an acre, it has been called by many the greatest real estate deal in the history of the United States.
Okay.
An acre. That's amazing.
They did a good deal, right? So this one is the Louisiana, the famous. This Louisiana purchase.
This is something I haven't understand, but so in Louisiana, when French owned, where were the tribes?
What?
Where were the Native American tribes? Were they in Louisiana territory? Were they living inside Louisiana territory?
No. At that time is the French people. Some people living there. No American.
No American Indian?
No American. American Indian live there, of course, yes.
Yes,
And
right.
some French people.
So,
And they are dealing farm business. They are doing there.
so when U.S. bought the land from France, were any Indians involved? No.
No. None of Indian involved. Just they live there. That is. Just their area is French government. Napoleon owned Louisiana. Then Napoleon sold real estate to America, United States.
So when Napoleon owned, Indian was aware Napoleon
See, simple. Indian does not know that how to own the land. They are not educated Westerners
Right.
style,
Right.
so they do not know. They thought this is their land, but they do not know how to make contract.